guys, I'm Candice.
I'm Jordan.
And we're known as Be Old Later on Instagram and social media. We've been driving the Pan American Highway for the last 2 years, starting from Vancouver, Canada, going all the way up to the top of North America to a town called Tuktoyaktuk, swimming in the Arctic Ocean, and then driving all the way down to South America to the bottom in a city called Ushuaia.
We want to share with you guys kind of what we thought was awesome and probably a lot of stuff that was just like good to have, but we didn't actually need.
So we'll talk about gear, but we'll also talk about mentality. What do you really need to do the Pan American Highway? And it's not much. Like if you really get down to like brass tacks, is that the you basically just need like the desire to do it. Like you really want to do something, you want to set these goals to get it done. We decided to do the Pan American Highway when we were climbing to the top of the Grand Teton to get married. You need the push to want to do it.
Getting your head set into, I'm doing the Pan American, I'm quitting a job if I have it, I'm putting my stuff in storage, I'm sorting out all my loose ends. For us in Vancouver, we were renting an apartment. We said, hey, this is our last day in the apartment, told the landlord. That day we were moving everything into the truck to live out of that full time.
Setting that date to go and having no excuses to hold you back.
Yeah,
so,
you're always going to have excuses to not do something. If you make it so you really have to get out there on the road, it becomes much easier just to get out on the road and start living it.
Which kind of mode of transportation do you want to do?
We decided to drive our 1997 Mitsubishi Delica L400 on the Pan American. We added some bigger tires, we added some bumpers for extra clearance, and we lifted it about 2 inches. We don't off-road a lot, but we wanted to make sure that we could go anywhere we wanted to, never miss out on something just because our vehicle couldn't get there. Some things that were important to us are some off-road lighting. We have some KC daylighters. You don't want to drive at night, but sometimes your day can go a little sideways and sometimes you end up driving at night. We added a snorkel just to keep some dust out of the air intake and to possibly cross some deep rivers if we needed to. It's a right-hand drive Japanese vehicle, not ideal for the Pan American because you can't get into Costa Rica or Panama. You might have problems in Nicaragua.
So we named him Bagheera because he's like our little guide along the Pan American, and when you start him, kind of sounds like a panther.
2.8 liter turbo diesel. Yeah, that's about all you need to know.
We've met people on bicycles. You can do it on your own 2 feet.
We saw some people in a tuk-tuk.
Basically figuring out how you want to do it. And then after figuring out your mode of transportation, figuring out the seasons and timeline for yourself. Are you going to be in the Arctic or in the north when it's 6 feet of snow? Maybe that's your thing. Our friends just did it. They loved it.
We decided that we like to hike, we like to climb, we like to visit all the national parks. The way for us to do that was to hit the summer in Alaska and the Yukon and the Northwest Territories, and we also wanted to hit the summer in Patagonia.
Flexibility for yourself and figure out what you really want to do. Maybe you want to be somewhere for a certain festival like Dia de los Muertos. You kind of have to plan around that. So figuring that out, having a loose plan and being able to understand that flexibility is key in these kind of trips. After a basic plan is having maps or a digital tool for navigation. Very important. A phone for emergencies and for other issues. So definitely some kind of mode of communication is also pretty obvious. A bit of saved money.
Yeah, when we were researching the trip, you can just Google how much money does it take to do the Pan American. We decided that the number we were shooting for was around 30,000 Canadian, 35,000 Canadian. Look online, see what other people have done, see how your living style goes with their living style. If you like to eat out all the time, or if you like to cook your own meals, or we enjoy a beer by the campfire, that costs money.
Yes, absolutely.
Ash in the beard.
Don't
Always
set
good.
your beard on fire.
Never set your beard on fire. This is kind of how we set up for sleep at night. We have this bit of wood here. It's kind of our bed platform and has like the kitchen and stuff in the back. These 2 drawers come out and they hold our clothes. These little wood pieces go right on top. It's a little tight in here and you can't stand obviously, but you can like fully lay down. We have a nice vent fan. Step 1 of the day, waking up.
Good morning! We have this wonderful living space that keeps us warm when it's cold and cool when it's warm. We have our ventilation system working, which helps out a ton.
Oftentimes, the first thing in the morning that you're going to want to do is figure out how to use the bathroom. If you're in the woods like this, it's generally pretty easy. We suggest bring a little foldable shovel. Always bring toilet paper with you. In South America, nobody has it in bathrooms. And when in the woods, leave no trace. So a little dog bag or something like that to pick up after yourself for the toilet paper. If you are in a city, you can often find a cafe or a public restroom, but out in the woods is always the best. The second thing for the day for us, coffee. We're big coffee people. We also eat breakfast. You can buy food your whole way on the trip, but a lot of people don't have the budget for that, and we like to cook a lot at home, and we brought kitchen stuff with us. One of the major things that's important is water. We carry 20 liters with us in a Lifesaver jerry can. It has a micron filter in it, so you can fill it up in a river, in a lake, in a gas station. It has a little pump built in, and then a tap. So you have fresh, clean drinking water. It's a little Coleman stove, has a little hose here. It hooks to this mini propane tank. It's a 5-pound tank. We started off using the little green Coleman tanks, but we didn't like the idea that you have to throw those away all the time, and you're not going to be able to find those very often in South America. Up top, we have all of our kitchen gear. So we have a couple collapsible bowls that we use for like bowls and plates, a pot, coffee grinder, and AeroPress. All we use to cook is a skillet and a spatula. If you like saving money in cooking, then yeah, you'll find a lot of this stuff super useful.
Okay, also, if you love to cook, it's really good to have a fridge. We have a Dometic, 35 liters, and keeps all of our groceries cold, our produce, and our beers cold. Gives you more time to basically live off the grid. And the fridge is powered by our battery, which is powered by our solar panels.
Our electrical system. We have 2 solar panels on the roof. Both are energy. One's 100 watt, one's a 30 watt. They go down through the roof into the van. Have our battery box here with a master shut off. Those shut off the solar panels, and this kind of just keeps track of how the battery is doing. Our battery is in here. It's a Battleborn 100 amp hour lithium. It's a lithium iron phosphate battery. You can fully discharge it. It was essential to our system because it's super small and lightweight. We have a small van and just didn't have room for the big batteries. We also wanted to make sure we got something that was kind of more environmentally friendly overall. This little app here, it monitors amps, volts, what the battery is doing on a day-to-day basis, and you can scroll through and see the history of it too, of like how much power we've made and used and stuff like that. So that's a Victron. But with the Battleborn battery, it powers like all of our stuff. It powers the fridge, it powers the lights, we have a fan, USB outlets that charge our phone and computers and stuff like that. The 2 solar panels charge it perfectly. We never did a battery isolator because the sun just keeps it charged, so we don't have to tax the van's electronics just to charge a battery. It's kind of like a passive energy system. We just leave it up there and it works. Today, we're rock climbing. When you're driving down the Pan American, we like to kind of think of it as maybe like a year or 2 of just like your weekends. You got to think about like what you like to do. That'll help determine what kind of gear you need to bring. We like to hike, we like to backpack, we like to climb. These are all the things that we thought were essential for our trip. So how do you find these things to do? For us, Instagram has been really helpful. You can find other travelers, hashtag Pan American Highway, and see like, oh, this person did this. We spent several nights before our trip loosely planning.
How do we get to those? Pinpoint them on a map, and then all of a sudden you have like a bit of your route based on places you want to see that other travelers have been.
Yeah, also on our website, beoldlater.com, we have a section under the Pan American Highway of rad people that we've met that we've been inspired by as well. So you can check that out.
You can also find things to do by asking locals. This is where Spanish does become very helpful. So knowing a little Spanish before you go isn't 100% necessary, but it is very, very helpful. And when you don't have all the words, using an app like Spanish Dictionary or Google Translate obviously helps a lot, but knowing simple phrases really goes a long way.
And if you're open and try to talk to people and practice your Spanish, it'll help you out a lot.
And they appreciate you trying. So we just finished a workout and we are gross. It's really nice to have a road shower.
In Central and South America, you can often find places to take a shower, but this one holds about 4 gallons of water. You just pressurize it. Yeah, so once it's pumped up, you just turn it on. Nice warm water.
Let's talk about fashion on the Pan American. We have these drawers for each of us for all of our clothes, and you have to think about all weather seasons if you're going to be in those situations. For us, we like to be in the mountains, so having warm clothing like a fleece or a puffy jacket, a raincoat for sure, and also like long pants and maybe a nice button-down shirt if you need to go somewhere where you have to look presentable. Like there's a lot of old churches in South America, and sometimes you probably wouldn't be super appropriate just wearing like a tank top and shorts. A bathing suit for sure.
So when we were in the Yukon, we decided to get these super nerdy mosquito shirts. They saved our butts a few times from the Yukon helicopters. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about vehicle recovery, safety equipment. It's always good to have a little extra gas storage. Sometimes there's a long distance between gas stations. The Lagunas route, the Dempster Highway, a full-size spare tire. Make sure you're carrying jacks with you that can support your vehicle. We have a bottle jack inside. We have a high lift jack on the roof. We were lucky enough on the whole trip, no flats. Thanks BF Goodrich. Along the lines of tires, we do have a puncture repair kit from ARB. Just make sure you know how to use it. We also have an ARB easy deflator. It's good for if you're airing down. An air compressor. This is pretty essential. Anytime you're airing down, you're going to want to air back up, or if you have to patch a tire. We do have a set of the Max Trax recovery boards with us. In Peru, we were on this like super slick, muddy kind of terrain, and the van kind of started to slip sideways downhill. The best way for us to get it out was just using the Max Trax to slowly come backwards. Mostly we use this for other people. If you're using Max Trax for others, be careful, tell them not to spin the wheels, but try to translate that into Spanish, and I guess is as good as mine. In some countries, you're required to have road flares. This is from Argentina. It's kind of just like a little emergency triangle. Tow strap. We've used this a couple times. Once to pull an 18-wheeler out of a stuck spot, which was a pretty great thing for the Delica to do. We were a little worried about it because we're a little underpowered, but this could help you get out of a situation, especially if you're traveling with others. Along with that, we have some shackles. It's a fire extinguisher. We have a little one that we mount in the van.
It is mandatory in some countries.
Yeah.
They will stop you and look for your fire extinguisher.
As kind of a last resort thing, we do have a Garmin InReach. It's a two-way messenger. It's given us peace of mind, especially like our family's peace of mind, that if we're somewhere remote and they really need to get a hold of us, or we really need help and we're stuck and we can't get out, we can send a message, ping our GPS point.
It also has SOS capabilities if you are stuck in the backcountry, and it helps you basically leave a breadcrumb trail when you're hiking.
Bring a first aid kit, put any of your medicines, just general first aid stuff in. Get a good medical certification, have someone teach you how to use all the things in your kit. Knives, we carry a lot of knives with us for like cooking, everything from first aid, but this is one of our bigger ones, and then we have lots of like kitchen knives too. Last bit of recovery gear, we have a couple shovels with us. One's our morning exercise shovel, as you guys have already seen. This one's just a small spade that we could dig a tire out or get unstuck out of mud. We have a set of wrenches with us, and then a set of like screwdrivers and pliers and stuff like that. So if you're driving a weird or old vehicle, we carry along an alternator, a starter, air filters, oil filters, fuel filter, pretty much any parts that we know we're going to go through. We have tinted windows. They're mostly for not darkness, but just to keep some of the sun out.
We made ourselves some window covers, making like a pattern out of newspaper, and then putting that onto Reflectix. So inside all of them is a sheet of Reflectix, and then we used something that would black out from, like, if you were walking past the van, you wouldn't be able to see it. And on the inside, a bit of like a softer, quiltier fabric. They cover every single window, and we used marine snaps to snap them into place.
It would be better if we had Reflectix on the outside, just because it would keep more of the sun out, but we opted for the stealth route. Yeah, it just kind of blacks out the window. It's good to have a little bit of privacy. Awnings. This one's from Tepui.
Great to have in the hot sun. Ta-da! Jordan thinks this is essential. I think it's a nice to have because we can't stand in the van, we can stand out here. And in Alaska, in places that have a ton of huge mosquitoes that just want to eat you up as soon as you come outside, netting that goes on this is very, very helpful.
Another thing we have is a trasharoo. We like it a lot because we don't have to keep small bags of trash inside the van. We can just take a bigger bag and throw it in the back here. It cuts down on the plastic we use.
There's been a lot of discussion on if you need a safe or not. We found it to be very useful, hidden in a place where you can store things like your original passports, maybe your computers, camera gear, so it's not just lying out and about while you maybe go hiking for a few days or leave your car parked in a parking lot.
One more good resource is the Pan American Travelers Association on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. Just join it. You can find everything from like people selling cars to current information on different places.
Some favorite apps that we like to use for traveling. iOverlander, it's basically our camp Bible.
It's also really good for getting up-to-date information on borders.
Maps.me, great to have as an alternative to Google Maps, especially because you can download maps and have them offline. A new app that we've been using that is excellent is Onyx Off-Road, showing you all of the BLM land, FSR trails.
That only works for the US as of now.
You don't need much. You just need to just go.
Yeah, have a loose plan. Just get out there on the road. You'll figure out most of the things you need to. If you don't have something, you can pretty much buy it anywhere.
Obviously things are different right now with COVID, but once this is all over, then definitely go.
It's a well-traveled route. You're going to meet a ton of people, hopefully other travelers and locals, and have an awesome time.
And you can start by exploring in your own backyard and trying out your gear. Get out there. Be old later.
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook at Be Old Later. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. We're friendly.
We're always happy to answer questions.
Yeah. We're
always happy to help and pay it forward in any way we can. So
cool.
Ah.
Thanks for watching.